The R word is here. The R word is record. We're recording with the R word. You know, I said this the other day. I said this election is hard because you have to choose between either a mentally challenged person or a retarded man.
What would you choose?
Tentatively, the mentally challenged man. Just because the Supreme Court is a problematic issue, and I'm not. I think Biden has one of the worst healthcare plans, but it's better than whatever Trump keeps trying to do. I'm on the ACA temporarily, out of work, folks. Boom. Which brings me to my next subject. Today is, did you know, coincidentally, today is actually National or International Podcast Day.
Vision Quest for life, people.
There are too many narcissism-based holidays, I think.
Such as?
Well, there's just way too many, like, International Podcast Day. I was like, Labor Day, we celebrate the unions who gave us the 5-day work week and all sorts of other, like, conditions, like the idea of having benefits with your employer. And what do we celebrate on Podcast Day? Like, people who just want to hear their own voice for several hours? I don't know. Like this podcast, I think 3 people listen to it, but there are listeners in the most important parts of the world. Iraq, we got 1 last I checked. Might have doubled.
Asia?
Iraq is in Asia, yes.
What about Africa?
I don't think we've scratched the surface of Africa. I'd have to double check. I'd have to look at the stats.
Coming soon to Africa.
Coming soon. Well, actually, I actually know a few people in Africa through old work. They were contractors, and they saw me do comedy a couple of times. I bet I could convince them to listen just so that we have covered all continents. I don't think we have any South Americans yet, but hey, I don't speak Portuguese, but if I did, I would do the podcast again in Portuguese so that you could enjoy it. But I think a lot of you guys down there speak English, so check it out. And we're wearing these ridiculous outfits to celebrate the beginning of Sober October, folks. It's Sober October. I kicked it off. It's September 30th, yes. But I like to start it one day early so that way I can end on Halloween, or else that's a buzzkill. It is hard to pick a month of sobriety because no matter what, there's always going to be some event that, there's always going to be some excuse to drink. April has the break, even though most people don't actually have that. March has St. Patrick's Day. January, of course, is MLK Day weekend. February, Leap Day. How could we forget? Groundhog's Day. 6 more weeks of winter, you're going to have to drink away the sorrows. June, July, and August are all just in the summer. So there's that. And September has Labor Day and International Podcast Day, which is a hard one not to drink on. But, of course, last night I got very drunk playing a drinking game of my own design for the presidential debates. Some notable rules. Drink every time Chris Wallace gets frustrated. Another one was... drink every time 200,000 or 750 is mentioned. And some other great rules. I can't think of all of them. What were they? They had some good ones, though.
We have massive numbers. You have to drink to that part. We have very massive numbers here.
I should have had Trump avoids denouncing white supremacy as a... Oh, by the way, this Coca-Cola is original taste. So does that mean, like, they have remnants of cocaine in it, like back in the day?
Here we love Coke. Coca-Cola, that is.
I do love cocaine, though, so don't get me wrong on that. It is a lot of fun, but it's a little bit too sad to do during a quarantine. You need a kind of a out-about-town type drug. I do like it when people are always saying, like, Trump is not a Christian. He's a cocaine addict. He bangs porn stars. And it's like, so you don't want me to... he sounds like a cool guy. And then Trump's always saying, like, he's going to give you socialized health care if you elect him. And I was like, okay, well, that sounds like a good thing, too. They're very bad at trying to convince you not to vote for their opponents. They just say a bunch of really silly things. People are very out of touch, and they think that they have the jab that'll get them. Like someone was on Twitter the other day saying, every question Chris Wallace asks, Biden should say, that's a $750 question. And I was like, yeah, he's not going to do that, and if he did, it wouldn't be funny. Like, you guys are you're living in some kind of bubble. You don't know what's going on. I will say that I got very drunk and by the end of the debate didn't know what was going on. I think if I was sober, though, I probably also wouldn't have known what was going on because they did just scream at each other and It was completely no control. It was not an environment in which to get. And I don't understand why they'll say like, we want to ask you a question. You have 2 minutes. Please don't interrupt. Why don't they just turn off the microphone so that he can't interrupt? I don't know.
I was watching last night, but halfway through, I realized, I'm like, wait, this isn't Monday Night Raw. This is an actual debate.
No, they're not even touching each other.
You sir, fake news.
They're touching each other with news. Fake news. That's the fake news media. And you and Pocahontas and crazy. He was saying a bunch of wild stuff.
My favorite,
it's funny.
But
My
favorite
hope
was
it
like
ends.
Joe Rogan. No, not Joe Rogan. Joe Biden. Sorry. He's like, "You're a clown, sir," and Trump just shook there.
He said,
nah.
"This clown." He said, "Hey, will you shut up, man?" And then "Shut up, man" was trending, and I was like, "I don't know, man. He has you beat though in terms of volume of insults. He's been calling you sleepy. He called for a drug test. It is an interesting strategy that they have where they just put conspiracy theories out there, and then the Biden campaign has to dignify them by responding. It's fun. Anyways, the moral of the story is that this morning I threw up. And because I had pizza with jalapenos on it last night, it severely burned my throat. So my throat is a little bit sore, giving me kind of a sexy voice today for you, you sexual listeners. Joe T, I know you're listening. This one's for you. Shout out, Tim, and I don't think anyone, Alyssa, and I think that's it for the listeners. Guy in Iraq, I hope we retained you. I hope we did not scare you away with my 20 fast facts about Saddam. And I'm looking forward to this Sober October. Now, I'm trying to figure out a way to maybe do things that are for self-betterment outside of just not drinking and smoking. For instance, I know when they did when the Joe Rogan crew did it, they read a book. So I think I'm going to commit to reading a book. And I kind of want to take a class of some sort. And I developed this like pooch in quarantine. That's why I'm wearing this ridiculous ill-fitting MTV jacket, because I don't want anyone to see my abdominal fat. So I might commit to ab workouts twice a week. We're trying to figure it out, folks. I'm going to make the schedule tonight. I probably shouldn't be drinking original taste Coca-Cola because that does defeat the purpose of trying to live a healthy lifestyle. So now this is my third year doing this. In the past, some people have said like, "Oh, well, are you still going to drink coffee?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah." And then they're like, "Well, then that's not sober." And I was like, I don't know. I mean, a lot of sober people are addicted to coffee. So I don't really get the rationale there. If coffee was not sober, the entire Alcoholics Anonymous ecosystem would collapse because, like, they're just a coffee-based organization.
Yes, they were, in fact.
Yeah,
I've been to
coffee,
AA,
chain
so I can.
smoking. You've been to AA?
Yeah, I confirm.
I've never been to a meeting. I feel like I will by,
It's
at
more
some
like,
point.
It's more like a therapy meeting than anything. Not bad, but, I do recommend AA meetings because it helps keep your life in perspective.
Okay, well, I could maybe use that. We'll see. I don't know. A pandemic might be a bad time to start. I know that there was issues with a lot of people relapsing at the beginning of the pandemic because of a lack of meeting spaces. But
Naturally, but so Q question: Will you be participating in No Shave November?
probably, but just like de facto. I just shaved my face for the first time in a while because I had this annoying dry patch of skin that the hair was like not growing on right, and I just said, we're getting rid of the whole beard. And now hopefully this thing will heal now that there's not hair growing on it. So I look about 19. My mom asked me if I wanted to go to church with her. I said, can't, Mom, look too young, might get molested. I don't have to worry about getting carded though, because it's Sober October. So the only place I'll get carded is buying more pepper spray for the inevitable, siege of society that comes. I hear noises. Last night, my girlfriend and I were practicing quick draw because we thought that we heard someone coming up the stairs, and then it was a false alarm. But we figured if someone comes up the stairs, we need to be able to get them with a quick. So I got to practice the draw. I don't have it on me right now. I do have a rock in my pocket though, just in case.
Fear the rock, people.
If some crazy person who thinks that this is the fake news media comes in to start shit, I'll just hit him with this rock, which is honestly, I thought this was going to be bigger, and now I pulled it out, and it's small as shit, and I look dumb. This is going to be great when you see it on YouTube. You're going to see the rock. You're going to see the MTV jacket. You're going to see the Coca-Cola. You're going to see this mask that I have. You can't see the American flag because that's behind the camera, but boy, do we love America here in Melrose, Massachusetts. Sorry, undisclosed location. That's where we are. I think it's
Ambiguous
gonna be
location.
ambiguity. Ambiguity. That's when a guy has curly hair and works in finance, but you see him eating a shrimp cocktail, so you're not really sure. He's ambiguous. Ayo. And AOC is more like it, you know? She is beautiful. And that's about the extent of what I want to tread on that subject.
Beautiful people with the wrong opinions.
I mean, I'm in the favor of climate change, and I just think that she's probably more disingenuous than a lot of people give her credit for. Green New Deal. Biden wouldn't commit to it. He said, "You listen here, man. I'm on it." Oh, one of the rules in the drinking game was anytime he says, "Look here," or "Come on, man." So that one ended up being pretty prolific because that is just like how he begins sentences. Don't worry, though, because when he dies in office, Kamala Harris will just put everyone in jail, and we'll live happily ever after in sort of a late Stalinist era America where everyone goes to jail for dissenting. That's what we want. We just want to, you just want to get lucky and hope that the people that go to jail are not the people you like. Stalin put all the good doctors in jail, like as a prank, and then he died because there were no doctors. Joke's on him. That was dumb. I sometimes see about history people who were controlling some of the largest nations in the world. I'm like, how do these cartoon characters get in charge? It's like the guy got paranoid and decided all doctors needed to go to jail. Even like he didn't even keep one or two around in case he got sick himself. And what about that goofball in North Korea who's, there's a picture of him like visiting a cornfield and he's like with an ear of corn looking like, oh, I'm not going to do an accent of any kind because, the wolves will come. But it's over October. I'm committed. I'm trying to figure out activities to do other than just sitting around and playing video games and not drinking. Like my friend, he texted me. He said, I got the house to myself. His parents' house, mind you. Not, he tries to make it seem like my roommate's away. No, his parents are away. And he said, I got acid. What are you doing Saturday? And I said, no can do. It's sober October. And then he called me a faggot, which I did not care for. But it doesn't matter because the joke's on him. He leads a very unhealthy lifestyle. He's going to do acid alone because he can't commit to a month of sobriety like I can, which makes me better, which is why I do it, by the way. There's no, being healthy is great. And this stupid person once said, nothing tastes as good as skinny feels. Well, that's dumb because I've been skinny my whole life. And I don't know, maybe like a nice souffle. A lobster roll is good. I actually had lobster risotto the other day. That was fun. A decent charcuterie board. The idea that nothing tastes as good as skinny doesn't feel that great. I mean, especially when you're like me and you wake up after a night of drinking and just vomit in the bathroom and, burn your throat on the jalapenos. Skinny doesn't feel that good. So that's a dumb phrase. So really being healthy is not that great in general, is my point here. Not to be confused with, I guess, the people who say nothing tastes as good as skinny feels. I don't really think they're probably that healthy, though. They're probably kind of like the starving themselves type. They might wake up after a night of drinking and throw up in the bathroom and be like, oh, thank God. I didn't have to stick my finger down my throat. I made myself throw up. This is America. No. The only reason that you go sober for 30 days and try to be healthy is to assert some sort of moral superiority on all of your peers. Because we live in some very horrible times, and most people have pretty bad problems with alcohol and drugs. So if you can step away for 30 days and show that you're not a full-on addict, you're just mostly an addict, you're basically better than 99% of people in the 20 to 30 age range. And if you can use social media and leverage it that way and use the hashtag Sober October and then also use Sober Octobert to get the Joe Rogan fans, then you really look like, Big Dick Nelson over here. Big Dick Nelson, Big Clit Tina, whichever one you want to be. It doesn't matter. It's all fake. Nothing's real. And God died ages ago after writing on stone that he didn't want women to get abortions. So, it's whatever. Whatever. Boy, have there been some great times where I threw up, though. I actually threw up, fun fact, after my first kiss.
Who was it with?
It was actually with a girl from Melrose. I'm not going to say her name because I don't like to blow up people who didn't necessarily do anything wrong.
Well, he said the word girl in Melrose, so I'm ready to puke right now. So
it was a girl from Melrose High School. I was different, and I was a Malden Catholic boy.
Good Catholic.
I was a good Catholic. I kept my mouth shut. I tucked my shirt in. Sometimes I let them tuck my shirt in for me because, they seem to love doing that. It was good. It was fine. Everything went good. I didn't get, I don't have any psychological scarring from it. I do have psychological scarring from my first kiss, though, which, clearly I had a visceral reaction. So here's what happened. My buddy, Dylan, he had already made out with this girl a few weeks ago, and he knew that I had never kissed a girl. And I was 17, so it was starting to get a little bit past due here. So he said, you can text this girl. And then I said, what should I say? And he said, you should text her and you should say, why is this number in my phone? And I did that exactly. And then somehow I stumbled through this awkward, nonsensical conversation and got her to agree to hang out with me. It was actually oh, shit. I think I'd heard the term easy before. I didn't realize that sometimes it really would just be easy. So I was going to pick her up at 3 o'clock, and I had the car, and I was driving around, and I went to McDonald's, and I got the now defunct chicken selects. What happened to the chicken selects? I don't know. I guess no one was buying them. I mean, they basically just put two together, and that's the artisanal grilled chicken sandwich. I don't want to harp on McDonald's, although you do know I have McDonald's a couple of times a year, especially driving back from the Cape because it's the halfway point coming back from Cape Cod right at the bridge. And then I'll meet someone who'll be like, McDonald's? I haven't had McDonald's since I was a kid. And I'll be like, okay, well, I guess you don't drive anywhere. If you ever go anywhere interesting, you're going to run into a situation where you're hungry and the only option is some kind of fast food. So really when people think that they're bragging about the fact that I haven't had fast food, I was okay. So you're either a weirdo who just eats granola while they're driving, or you just don't go anywhere interesting. This is not a bragging point. Anyways, I got the chicken selects, and I went back. We went to my apartment, and this fucking weirdo said, I want to, not my apartment, we're in the basement of my parents' house. I was 17. She said, I want to watch the film, cinema, the picture, her favorite movie of all time, romantic classic, I think Roger Ebert called it the feel-good movie of the summer. Maybe you've heard of it. It's called Silent Hill. We watched this film, Silent Hill, which is based on a video game, and not a good movie, really. I don't really think that there's really any movies based on video games that were good. But this was a really bad movie and a strange thing to watch with a person. But then at some point she paused the horrible movie, which I was a fan of because I didn't enjoy it. And then she went in to kiss me, and I did, and I couldn't believe it. I was doing it. I finally made it. I crossed the bridge, and then all of a sudden my heart started beating fast, and I was like, I think I'm going to throw up. And I did. I ran to the back, and I threw up in a trash can. All the chicken selects, they were gone. So I blamed the chicken selects. I'm pretty sure I was just having an anxiety attack because I was, some kind of man-child who couldn't comprehend the fact that I was making physical contact with a woman, especially in the mouth. But that was a great vomiting, that was a real classic. It's a bait and switch. She felt very strange. She thought she had done something wrong. She was just victimized by my bad stomach and also bad mental health. Really, why I shouldn't be drinking at all, because I have a horrible stomach. I used to throw up before I ever even drank in my life. When I was a senior in cross country, my last race ever, I started throwing up as I was going through the finish line. And it was cool because this guy was trying to pass me on my side, and I just kind of threw up, and then he was like, whoa, and he just stopped. He was like, I'm not passing this kid. So, I kind of placed ahead of him strictly because I was projectile vomiting. And, you know, it was like a superpower that day. Normally, it does not feel like a superpower. Normally, it's actually a huge inconvenience. Thankfully, I have gotten good about getting myself to a secure location, so I never ruin any rugs or anything. We did. I threw up at the Roosevelt Elementary School several times. Once because my friend Rob was licking his fingers in front of me, and I said, "Please don't do that. It's gross," and he refused to stop. So I just like threw up on his legs. That time I also weaponized it. A lot of vomit stories. I ruined the cast party for an amateur production of Into the Woods because I ate one hot dog and I threw up in the girls' parents' backyard. And they said, "You're not hungover, are you?" And I said, "I drank last night, but I think it would have worn off by now." And they said, "Not really." I was like 17. A lot of vomit. Dave, you ever ruin an event by vomiting?
Well, yes, I have. I think I ruined my family reunion because I watched Dave Chappelle do stand-up. I'm like, oh my God, I think I'm going to be sick. I'm like, And lo and behold, my family's had my other family over, you know, the one we
You
only...
watched this clip of Dave Chappelle doing stand-up, and that made you sick to your stomach, or was that just a coincidence?
You know, I think it was just a coincidence.
Oh, okay.
Completely unrelated. I think I ate too many chicken wings that day, but I remember we had the other side of the family. You ever have an other side of the family you only ever see in Christmas?
Yeah, to a certain extent.
They were over, and I threw up outside, and it made people very uncomfortable. But I remember thinking at the end, like, mission accomplished. They're gone. See you during Christmas.
I have relatives that I see every Christmas Eve whose names I don't even know because, like, I'm way past the point of learning people's names now because now I'm an adult. And, like, I just didn't as a kid. And, like, you know, I know their faces, and it's like, "Nice to see you, Merry Christmas." And it's like, I mean, Vegas odds, last name probably Tobin because that's the big mom side of the family name. But, yeah, I don't know the people's names. We'll be doing Yankee swap, and we'll be like, "It's her turn. It's number 3's turn." And, you know, crisis avoided. There was actually a girl who used to come to my Christmas Eve who I asked around and found out I'm not biologically related to. I mean, it was very obvious because she looks Italian and no one in my family. We're all pasty, bad genes, Irish folks. And, like, I was too shy to, like, flirt with her. I kind of tried, but, I was too timid. And then the next year she shows up to Christmas Eve, and she's got a skinny, lanky boyfriend who looks just like me. I had a shot the whole time.
A missed opportunity, people.
I threw away my shot. I threw away my shot.
Alex, I'll take Wincest for $10,000.
Wincest. No, we weren't we were not biologically related. I mean, I probably would have known because I would have met her at some point prior to being like 22 or whenever the first time I met that girl was. I'm going to add 30 minutes to my Zipcar just because I'm going to get dinner after this is over. And I don't want someone to barge into my Zipcar. All right. Cam just texted me and said the debate was like the Modern Warfare 2 lobby.
Your fucking mom texted me last night.
Yeah.
Huh, Joey?
Joe, well, I can Google your address right now, and also you're a huge faggot. So,
I was waiting for Trump to say, "Joe, you're fake news."
I think he accused him of promoting fake news on several occasions.
Who hasn't promoted fake news nowadays?
I mean, I've definitely shared fake news, and not because it was like a headline that I shared and did not read the article, but.
I mean, I've shared a few Wikipedia articles, so yes, I'm accused of sharing fake news.
So what's his name? Dumb governor is no, he's not that bad. I mean, he is. Let's not drag Mr. Baker's name through the mud. But he says that indoor performance venues can open at 50% capacity. Could this be the return of live comedy? Does that mean I actually have to start writing material again and not just ad-libbing a podcast for 1 hour a week and, I brought props. I literally brought a goofy jacket with a rock in it, and most people aren't even going to watch the video. So I don't know who that was for.
I believe that was for the person in Iraq.
It was for Iraqi Joe. It was for Sadif. His name is probably not that far off.
I believe there's a pun we're missing, but I can't think of the pun.
Sadif. Oh well, it was the Iraq.
There it is, people.
That was Steve Jobs is Iraq.
The IROC.
Iraq and roll. You remember that show, Little Bush?
Yes, I do remember that.
Come on, let's rock and roll. That was so weird. They decided to come out with a show about Bush like at the end of his second term, and then for some, that was a weird show.
A little too late to the punchline, but
I think they just kind of knew that they only wanted to do a limited series run, and then they, that was silly.
I believe Jeb Bush was eating a rock in one episode.
Probably because Jeb Bush was like developmentally disabled on the show, instead of just being his real life low energy self. The only episode I remember is when they go to Iraq to get his father the perfect Father's Day gift, and then they just sing, "Come on, let's rock and roll, flown right into a big shit hole." No, but there's a much worse equivalent of that about Trump called like Our Cartoon President that I watched like half an episode of, and it was not funny. And then there's a scene where the cartoon Trump sits down. I think he's like voiced by Stephen Colbert, who like notoriously does not do a very good impression of Trump, so that made it even worse. But there's a scene where he like sits down, and he's like, "I'm gonna go through all my favorite memories," and then he like turns on the TV, and it's just like clips of Trump saying wild shit during like the debates and in news conferences, and that little reel was funnier than anything that was actually any of the jokes that were in the show, which is why like if you are such a fucking loser that you're anxious to see, or not anxious, but you're excited to see like Jim Carrey do a sketch about whatever the fuck happened last night on that debate stage. It's like, who cares? The comedic value is clearly in the fact that you have two senile people on a stage, and for whatever reason, the moderator decided that he wanted most of the debate to be open discussion, even though he's known Trump his like entire life. And then it was just a shit show. They told each other to shut up. People were called sleepy. People were called weak. He said, this clown, come on, man. And Biden kept forgetting that his face looked dead and then forcing himself to smile. It looked like he had his pupils definitely looked overdilated.
Yeah, I do believe
he could be juicing.
They could have been Google contact lenses.
Maybe. I'm not sure that he didn't really give me the impression that he was successfully Googling any information during the debate. But they said that they would submit to a drug test if Trump demanded it, which seemed a little ostentatious because the guy's like dead, and then they have to get him on stage for 90 minutes. They have to give him something. Maybe they just give him a lot of coffee. I don't know. But his pupils are like hyperdilated. He looks like in the Avengers when Loki's like taking someone over, or The Grudge. Whatever pop culture reference you want to use. There's a lot of movies and shows where people's eyes turn black. If you don't like the ones I said, you take your own. And by the way, when someone is evil, their eyes turn black, racist.
Black eyes, racist.
Except for in Game of Thrones, I guess when people are like controlled, their eyes turn white. So,
whiteface.
Yeah. Or their eyes turn white, or they just roll back, and that's just the color that the corneas are. Not the corneas, the eyeballs. What's the medical term for eyeball? Cytoplasm? Hey Siri, what's the medical term for eyeball? This is not even an iPhone. I don't know why I did that.
O equals sclera.
If you didn't know, it's called the sclera.
Sclera.
The Antonin sclera.
I'm
Killed
sorry.
with a heart attack gun. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm sorry, doctor, but my sclera keep looking at your nurse.
Yeah, I'm sclera.
You're a 21-year-old nurse.
Well, it would be how would a nurse be 21? They have to go to nursing school.
Yeah, they skipped a few years.
They got to be like 24 minimum. It's okay. I like a hot nurse. Scrubs, great look for a lady. They got the V. I don't know what I'm saying. I like all attractive people in the medical field, except for radiologists, of course. They can go to hell. Trying to act like I'm supposed to take you seriously. You literally just operate a machine. You don't know that much about the human body. Let's take it down a notch, okay? I am going to get so much hate mail. I can't believe that on episode 13 of Somebody's Listening podcast, he was disrespectful about radiology, a noble profession. My mother was a radiologist, and she worked every day for no pay, $199,000 a year, didn't even break the $200,000 barrier. And he was disrespecting her by saying all she did was operate a machine. She is not a technician. She is a doctor. Hypothetical person who is offended by my anti-radiology sentiments.
You mean the comment section of Reddit?
Maybe.
Actually, I drink a lot of soy milk, and I disagree with that statement.
I was on, I have a very high IQ. I know because I tested myself online. I paid $5 to see the results. If you know.
I'm subscribed to the R Atheist subreddit.
Oh, yeah, well, atheism. I'm subscribed to the R Atheism subreddit, but like I have about 4 people who are popular atheist public speakers, and I believe everything they say without question. But I don't see any sort of hypocrisy in that kind of lifestyle.
Kevin, I have this problem. How do I tell my gym partner that I'm an atheist?
Now you sound like you're doing an impression of Ron Paul having a stroke.
Was this the movie Bruno?
No, did you see the video? Ron Paul had a stroke on, like, not on live TV, but on some kind of live stream, so there's a video of it.
Oh, JC.
It's actually probably one of the only good videos you can get of, like, definitive proof of, like, what it looks like when someone's having a stroke. So the medical community has probably already co-opted it. But, yeah, he's, like, in the middle of a sentence about just some cliche libertarian shit, like the state, the welfare state, liquidating the capital of something, and then he's just like, we gotta liquidate the capital, and then you can actually see like the side of his face slowly start to droop, and it's like, holy shit.
He just got his brain liquidated.
Yeah, I know. They liquidated the state of his left hemisphere. No, but it's okay. The free market will repair him.
Speaking of which, they're supposed to make a Borat Part 2 somewhere.
Borat Part 2. How are they even going to do that if everyone already knows? What are they going to make it, like in Myanmar? They're going to take the Burmese railway system through I don't actually know the names of the town. I was Googling stuff about Myanmar the other day because I thought that would be a good place to go where no one would find you.
Isn't that where my clothes are made in the sweatshops?
Myanmar, maybe.
Or is it Bangladesh? I forget.
Bangladesh seems more likely because I feel like Bangladesh has more of an industrial economy. I feel like Myanmar is like there's a railway, and I think that's like the only industrial thing that exists in the entire. Like it's mostly like pagodas, mountains, fields. I don't think there's much going on there.
Here in Bangladesh, we believe in the free market so much, we want to start you at a young age.
There's some kind of insane like dynasty there that I think it still exists. Well, it was Burma, and then it was changed to Myanmar. So I think in relatively recent history, the regime has changed. Let's see here. Oh. The largest city is called Yangon, but it was formerly called Rangoon, which is making me hungry. I could use some crab Rangoon. Speaking of people, going back to the Soviets, one of Stalin's buddies, who he didn't even like that much and tried to kill, was Molotov. And I watched that movie, Death of Stalin. Whoever they got to play this guy, he did not seem like a guy who was cool enough to invent a makeshift weapon. Maybe it was just the way he was portrayed in that movie. Maybe he was a tough guy in real life. But yeah, he didn't give me big, like, improvised explosive device. And I'm going to get people, well, this fucking moron thinks that a Molotov cocktail explodes. That's Hollywood bullshit. It does not explode. It just spreads fire to a certain area. Thank you. Please leave more comments on the video. I really want engagement. Or just send me a DM on Instagram at just4quiggles. Call me whatever slur you want. Make up a new slur. Or just use one that I haven't heard yet, and I'll think you made it up. Call me a chode. My penis has gotten bigger during quarantine. I don't know why, but its length has surged. I don't know if it's because the rest of my body has gotten smaller, which is definitely not the case. I don't know if it's anxiety, and that's just generating a lot of testosterone or something. But something's fishy here. And it definitely ain't my diet. Because I only eat fish once every 2 weeks.
Oh, I'll have you know that I've lost 10 pounds since quarantine. I looked at my the other day. I'm like, I look like Marilyn Manson circa 1996.
So I gained probably like 20, which is weird because normally if I'm under like stress and anxiety, I just lose weight rapidly. But I think my metabolism might be starting to slow down. But I went out the other day and I went for a run. And I normally run like 740. Prior to this, the beginning of quarantine, I was running like 740 minutes per mile. And now it's like 840 minutes per mile. But I managed to go 8 miles. But boy, did I not lose any weight. Maybe we'll see. Sober October. That's why I got the pouch. I want to see if I can get some washboard abs, which I've never had in my life. So it was really ridiculous of me to think that I'll be having them now during a very stressful time. But hey, as Brendan Rodgers on LinkedIn says, you set goals. You tell very few people. Execute quietly. Get it done. He says something, some cliche bullshit like that. I don't know what he says. It's pretty indiscernible from any other motivational speech. But Brendan Rodgers, I have failed because I have announced that I'm going to do this workout on a podcast. So I've made myself very uninteresting in the eyes of my viewers. But you know what is very interesting in the eyes of my viewers? Investing in precious metals. Now, I've never invested in precious metals in my entire life. But I think it's kind of like, I don't think it's that fun. Like when people buy drums of oil on like this, like Robin Hood or something, I don't want to do that. I want to like have a drum of oil in my house, like hoard, like real doomsday prep stuff.
Careful, otherwise America will invade your house.
Maybe that's how you get their attention.
See George Bush Jr. knocking your door down with an M16. Give me that oil.
Yeah, I don't think that guy's ever held a gun. Maybe in his cheerleading days.
Or maybe he was dodging the army? Or is that Bill Clinton?
That's Donald Trump, but then also George W. Bush.
And I believe Bill Clinton.
And then maybe also, I wouldn't be surprised if it was also Bill Clinton.
He was too busy dodging, going to the fucking Epstein Island. Yeah.
Well, I think that would be post his draft dodging days once he became an established socialite. No, it's a shame he didn't serve in Vietnam because he could have had sex with many underage prostitutes. He didn't even consider that. He was young. He was naive.
I'm Bill Clinton. My girlfriend's age doubles as my shoe size.
So like
too dark.
Like less than 12. I don't know if he was into girls that young. I think he was just a sort of I guess you could say ripe for the picking type. Now I sound like a pedophile. We're gonna have to release a joint statement from a joint task force, saying that I believe that ripeness is achieved at the age of 24 and a half. And if you're a man, that is the kind of girl you should be achieving. 24 and a half or above. But hey, fellas, don't knock out a girl who's slightly older than you, maybe in her 30s. She has more world experience and also more capital and won't expect you to pay for anything. Plus, she's still single and she's in her 30s, so low sense of self-worth. She's not going to act entitled all the time. You get the best of both worlds. Up on the show, and then you go to the show. You get the best of both worlds. Miley was 14. They fed her Adderall backstage. You get the best of both worlds. And Disney is evil, and they keep child slaves. You get the best of both worlds. They don't all become millionaires like Miley Cyrus. Most die. They get the best of both worlds. Open the park and then fire all the employees when they get COVID. You get the best of both worlds. Purchase every beloved property so that people can't get mad at you. You get the best of both worlds. Freeze your anti-Semitic owner and reignite him so that he can eat children. You get the best of both worlds. The CEO doesn't take a salary, but he does kill young kids. It's getting a little repetitive now.
Well, Q, I don't know about you, but I told a friend of mine that I was in the MILFs. He's like, "Oh no, don't vote for Tulsi Gabbard."
You into MILFs? Oh yeah. Tulsi Gabbard. Here's the thing: is that she unironically was sharing like Project Veritas stuff the other day, and that's like, ooh. I used to defend her a lot, and then I was like, you can't ooh, you can't unabashedly share that. That's like a frequently debunked conspiracy theory platform. And yeah,
Are we talking about Project Veritas or InfoWars?
Project Veritas. Like they've got, I mean, that guy got like sued for a shitload of money for editing stuff to be misrepresentative of stuff. I mean, they got that one guy fired from ABC earlier this year, strictly because he admitted what everyone already knew. And then during the 2016 election, he got that one guy in trouble who was hiring people to something about ducks. They like were dressing. They were dressed as Donald Duck, and they were saying Donald Ducks. And then they caught him on camera. I don't even know what kind of cameras these people are wearing. They were like big necklace cameras. I don't know.
I believe it's the Protract. No, what the fuck was that? Pocket protector. The things that nerds used to love. I'm wearing my pocket protector camera.
Yeah, I think before we were born, I've never actually seen a person with a pocket protector in real life. And I was on the robotics team. I went to the robotics conference. Still never even saw a pocket protector. I think they just started making shirts where the pockets were protected.
Yeah, it must have been one of those things like unicorn. Oh, they're magical.
They're magical. You got a pen that's leaking. Magical. You got a pen that's leaking. Magical. You're not gonna ruin your pants. Magical. You lose your virginity when you're 31. Magical. Magic, folks. This is how the magic happens. It happens here in the studio. We do sober. I'm doing sober October. I'm not going to smoke weed. I'm a big weed head. I'm not going to smoke cigarettes. I'm going to cleanse my lungs. And I invite you to join me if you see this in time. Oh, and I'm getting back on stage again soon, which I'm excited about.
Excellent.
I have a show to. This is probably will be way too late by the time we get this out. But I do have a show tomorrow, Thursday, in Eastie Farm, and I'm going to be at that same venue the following week. So it's just like East Boston Farm, and then it's at like 7 p.m. I should have prepared better. But even bigger than that, Falmouth Drive-In, Falmouth, Massachusetts, Cape Cod, buddy. Falmouth Drive-In. I'm doing a show with Dave Russo, Pete Costello, and a couple other members of, not really the old guard, I guess you could call them the mid-guard of Boston comedy. And, I'm very excited to have the opportunity to perform to vehicles. I know it's not the most glamorous setting, but everyone, I thought I was so low on the pecking order that I wouldn't actually be able to get up at one of these drive-through shows. And I just know years from now, when we're all thinking about how horrible this COVID thing was, and hopefully I'm still doing comedy, I'm still on the grind, and I think I will be. I don't think I need to say hopefully. I'll be looking back thinking about, remember that time I was performing at Cars? Because I performed on stage at a strip club, Golden Banana, famous place. I performed naked more times than I would care to count. I have performed in black rooms, which can be a much different experience. And now I'm going to perform to a bunch of cars. And according to the rules, beeping is strictly prohibited. No beeps. I'm not going to bleep out the swears either.
Humbug.
Yeah. I'll be like, I don't really curse that much in my. It's really not necessary because I could just remove them and replace them with other words. There's like a whole thing where like K sounds are actually considered very funny, especially if they're near the end of the word, which is why fuck is a filler word that is overused in comedic dialogue. But I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be fun. It's fun to get back out there. And I'm also looking forward to, I never have any good plans on Halloween. And this year, that's like fine. So that's cool. Fall. Gonna go up, gonna get some nature. Gonna get it. And yeah, I know a lot of people who do like creative stuff, especially comedy. They say, oh, if I don't drink or smoke pot, I can't be funny. And that is, anyone saying that is lying to themselves. Like, you're just pathetic. And a lot of people are funny, and they probably would live a lot longer and maybe be more consistent if they cleaned up their act a bit. But that is the nature of it. I mean, there's a reason I need to clean up my act. And this is probably the most important sober October of the past 3 I've done, just because I've been drinking like a fish, and I've been drinking like a fish, and I've been smoking like a chimney. And you know what happens if you put a fish in the chimney? Smoked trout. And as delicious as I think smoked trout is, it's really not the way that I want to live my life. I don't want to be a smoked trout. I want to wake up in the morning with suicidal ideation, which I think is a funny term because that makes it sound like you consulted some kind of firm, PR, marketing, whatever, where they're like, all right, you want to do this? You only get one shot at this. You want to do it right. Here we go. 3 words for you. You see me? Golden Gate Bridge. What are we talking about? You're not an ostentatious guy. You're subtle. You're nuanced. You're not doing it in public. We got a great car exhaust package for you. Now, you don't own a car, but we got a deal with Enterprise Rental Car. 25% off if you go with one of our car exhaust packages. Now, of course, for obvious reasons, you got to pay the cleaning lady. You got to pay the cleaning fee in advance. Working out some new material on the pod here. Don't mind me. Oh. Now, you're probably wondering, everyone leaves a note. Now you can write your own note. I'm sure you're perfectly capable of writing a note. What do you do about your cloud? All those nice photos, family, friends, the ones you never even bothered putting on Instagram, you're going to want to release those. What do you just hand over your passwords? Every single picture of your dick you ever sent to some girl when you were lonely? Now your mom's going to see that? No. You need a curated data package, okay? We will have someone go through your entire cloud history, take out every single nice photo, and maybe leave all those times that you screenshot someone's profile so you could send it to a friend and say, would you bang this girl? Which sometimes when I'm looking for a photo that I just see random screenshots of people's profiles from years ago. And I'm like, this was definitely something I sent to my friend Cam, captioned, would you bang this girl? And then I'm like, I feel dirty. It's like, now this is in my, I should just delete them, but I have horrible ADD and I don't really ever clean or delete anything. You should see my email inbox. I remember I saw someone's email inbox the other day and it was just like, not just unread messages, but it was just like 1 unread out of 10 messages. And I was like, what the fuck? They're like, oh yeah, well, I just delete my emails. I'm like, I haven't deleted an email literally ever. I have like 56,000 emails in my Gmail, probably way more.
I like to hoard emails for blackmail.
Horrible, because then sometimes you need information. You just Google a keyword and then it comes up. And like I can't actually take the time to have discretion and say like this is something I'll never need again, delete. Like what? And then I just now, but then you have to end up paying for storage. Like Gmail pulled the plug on me. Fucking cons shake you down for money. Just like all of a sudden they say, you need to clear up space in your cloud, or give us more money, or we're shutting down your fucking email. And then it's like, and it's for some reason when it happened to me, I was like waiting on a very important email. I was like, fuck. So now they get like $15 a month or some bullshit.
Thank you, Alphabet.
Yeah. Alphabet soup. Coming for you. I don't think we should be insulting the people who run YouTube. I bet this content will be monetizable. No, I'm just kidding. I don't think anything was swearing. They even put monetizing in at all.
Uh-oh. He said ask, we can't give him donation money. We can't give him ad revenue.
Well, you can read ads, I think, if you get someone to agree. And then if people buy it with your code, then you get money. But the actual YouTube monetization, I'm pretty sure any sort of comedy podcast, unless it's like, I don't know, some BS that's clean, is it's hard to be clean, especially for like an hour. Like I want to talk about throwing up from the chicken selects and, how that's my personal version of getting an abortion. But, they don't like that in the old monetization factory, the money store.
I forget who I heard this from, but they said, don't ever trust a comedian who doesn't swear.
Well,
I think they're trying to compare Bill Cosby.
Well, I mean, you got Jerry Seinfeld who openly dated a 17-year-old girl and didn't even get in trouble for it.
What's the deal with consent?
Yeah. Well, I mean, she was above the age of consent in New York at the time, so it was not breaking a law, but he was 38. So there's a difference between, like, staying within the law and, like, that doesn't mean it wasn't creepy. Because I know some people share the post, and then you always see some idiot on Twitter who's like, the age of consent in New York is blah, blah, blah. It's like, no one's saying he broke the law, idiot. They're saying that it's fucking creepy that a 38-year-old picked up a 17-year-old in the park.
I could drink by the time you were born.
True. Yeah, that's weird. I briefly dated an older woman, and like I feel like part of the reason we stopped is that every time I'd be like, Well, when I was 12, and I guess you'd be in graduating college, and then it was just like, that kept coming up. And because I'm just this fucking awkward word vomit person, which is why I need to do this stupid podcast. I need to get it out. But yeah, no, I'll just say stuff that doesn't need to be said. Yeah. Some people, like, they need to be, like, drunk or something. I don't. That definitely can be a contributing factor, but is very much not necessary for me to just say something that will get me into some trouble. So I'm sure I'll get into a lot of trouble during Sober October, despite the fact that I'm not drinking alcohol. And boy, did I get off to a good start, because I'm, like, still hungover. You know, my teeth are all fucked up because I had, like, a drunk sleep where I probably grinded my teeth too much, and now it's even worse because I'm drinking Original Coke. I don't care. My dentist follows me on Instagram, or she used to, and she has not liked one of my posts in quite some time. So, despite her, I am also, she's not really my dentist anymore because I don't have health insurance and she moved to Canada. But whoever they replaced her with, despite them, she, you know, I did go once after they replaced her, and the person they replaced her with was no good. Shaky hands. Can't be having shaky hands. What do we get, alcoholic dentists now? I mean, I know that they're sad. Imagine being a sad dentist. They should make a movie about, just a TV show about sad dentists.
Just called dentist.
The problem is that dentists are people who care a lot about teeth, and they, like, think that other people find that interesting, and no one does at all, like, ever.
Oh, that really.
And they try to tell you, shit about, like, number 13, and you're like, dude, I have no idea what the fuck that means. No one knows tooth numbers. You know, like, numbers. Oh, 1, 2, 3. Oh, this one. Oh, I guess I did that. And, like, yeah, you can see around number 13.
Oh, you did good, Kevin. Would you like a lollipop? Even though it's counterintuitive to dentist health.
You know, I don't think they do lollipops at mine because it's like a grown-up dentist. But yeah, no, I would like a lollipop. I could use a lollipop right now. It'd be great for recording a podcast, is to just loudly suck on a lollipop next to the microphone.
You see, I have hypoglycemia, so I need to keep my blood sugar at even level. Otherwise, I get a little angry on the podcast.
And I'm photophocenic. Photoscenic. Photogenic. I'm photogenderqueer. I'm photogenuine. I'm misphotogendered. That's for me. Mysterious. Misuse mistakes to remember, just in case there's just one left, 'cause you know. Bush did it. Bush did it all along. Burned the buildings. Pop number 7 all too long. Keep dreaming that it was 11 Arab guys. We all know it was Bush and Cheney drinking Mai Tais on the beach. They just pushed a button, and then it all went. Can't believe he did that. So rude. Like, honestly, you'd think that I would have gotten over it by now, because it's been 19 years, but it's just so frickin' rude.
Now I wonder, does Coca-Cola melt steel beams?
Does Coca-Cola? Probably.
It can clean blood up.
Yeah, I know. That would be... How come you never see that in movies? There's never, like, a movie scene where they pull out, like, a Coca-Cola and they're like, shh. You know, it's always, like, some fucking fertilizer or something that they're cleaning the scene up with. Or some BS. They never use Coca-Cola to clean blood off the car. You know, clean up the scene of the crime. In the middle of the night, at the scene of the crime, they pour Coca-Cola to hide the semen stains that they left.
Well, the other day was one of your comedian's birthdays, Jay Baker.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was his birthday. I only knew that because it popped up on Facebook. I'm like,
Jay
oh, yeah.
Baker. Now, he had not a good set at the Melrose Comedy event.
I got a chuckle out of it, so.
Yeah, definitely. He's a very, very fun guy, and he has a very booming comedic voice.
I talk like this.
Hey, how you doing? Ah!
I met you at the convenience store buying scratch tickets.
When I booked him on the show, he called me for like an hour, and he's like,
Listen to me, Kevin. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm doing this comedy thing. I'm trying to get on stage because I've been a home health aide. I've worked. I've been a firefighter. I've had 6 heart attacks. I got struck by lightning. And now I'm doing this thing because, let me tell you something Lenny Clark told me. Lenny Clark told me that you got to stay clean. You got to stay clean because then you can play the bar mitzvahs and the birthday parties. You do dirty, you're only going to get on these shows with the adults. The real money's in being clean, Clark.
It's like, yes, go to a bar mitzvah and talk about,
I'm a home health aide. I take care of a 90-year-old man. And I put on Telemundo.
Telemundo.
I don't know. I don't think I could do bar mitzvahs. There's just no way I'm in touch with the Gen Z Jewish boy.
Yeah. I get thrown for making circumcision jokes.
That's the wrong event. It would be funny if you got a comedian to come to a bris.
Yeah. You know, the same pain in a dick, well, not anymore.
Say, whoa, who cut you? Have another drink, Rabbi. Your hand's a bit shaky. Sloppy. I'm doing too many shaky hands jokes this episode.
Oh, he's bottom on stage. Everyone cut him off.
I don't know. Foreskin? Pff, that's looking like a bit of a 5-skin to me.
I knew it was Dave Russo. Nice guy, but he was a bit disturbed by the company I kept. My friend Squanto kind of freaked him out a bit.
Was your friend Squanto at the thing that night?
Yeah, he was part of one of the 4 men I brought to help set up.
Okay. I definitely met him. I just didn't remember my name. His name was unironically Squanto, like Squanto, friend of the Pilgrims.
Squanto, the Vision Quest, he's a good friend of mine.
Oh, you're talking about Francis's brother.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
The two of them were there too, so.
Yeah.
Squanto and Sitting Bull.
Sitting Bull.
Or as he likes to say, Sitting Bull.
I actually thought of a great idea for a sketch that's like, not that politically correct, but in order to get away with it, I need a genuine Native American person to participate, because if I get a white person, people will freak out more. And then it's more like, it's completely like facetious, because then it's just like I have to be like, hey, can I get a Native American person to sign off on this potentially offensive sketch, please? And I was like, I'm not even fucking, I can't be fucked with the, like, oh, you really typecasting so you can make a joke about it. It's like, yeah, it's gonna be fun. Here's the gift. It's like the intro to a TV show where I'm a character who's always got a get-rich-quick scheme. So I'm always walking into the door, sometimes in a plumber's outfit, sometimes with like a box full of like, vitamins, like I'm in an MLM. Sometimes I got like a wrench, and sometimes I got like a pick and like a prospector's helmet. Like we're gonna go dig for gold. And every time I walk in and I say, Navajo Joe, I got an idea for the two of us to make some money. And then every time Navajo Joe just responds, how? But the problem is I can't pull that off without an actual Native American person to play Navajo Joe, because some people otherwise might think that is racially an insensitive sketch. So that's the problem I'm in. But I have the entire month of October to figure this out. And we're going to get blankets, That's actually, I could pay him in blankets. I might be off the reservation with that one.
Be like, hey, here, this one's on the house.
Yeah. On the house? I don't know how is that supposed to be a pun also?
And it's supposed to be free. And somewhere
Free.
British.
I get it. I don't really get it.
A chew.
Yeah. Poxy. Not to be confused with epoxy, which probably would have been useful. They could have, sealed up holes. That's what epoxy is, right? It's like the stuff you put on surfboards to seal holes so the surfboards don't sink.
Yep.
Speaking of sinking, I think we really ran out of steam here. So stay safe, stay healthy out there, get out and vote, or don't. It doesn't seem like they're going to be counted this time around anyway. Folks, I love you, and good night.
Take care, people.